All right.
All right.
Hello for the okay for the second session. We have Mr. Lee Tae-ho, Philip. Shall I call you Philip or Tae-ho?
Yeah, Philip is fine.
Thank you very much for coming
Yeah.
visiting us. Mr. Lee Tae-ho, and I'm your girlfriend Minsu. So can you basically just introduce about yourself to our
Yeah, hi. Hi. Very glad to be here. I'm Philip Lee. I'm the founder and publisher of Pickool. We deal with the news from Japan and South Korea for tech and startup and business stories to the world in English. And for global stories for South Korean audiences and the subscribers and readers so they can learn about the things what's happening outside the peninsula.
I mean, that's amazing. I mean, because I even personally feel some of the important information or updated news are very limited
All right.
if you read in Korean. But I'm a subscriber of Pickool.
Yes.
Lovely.
Thank you very much.
Up to date, speedy, so good. I love it. Thanks for your service. And Phil.
You can just call me Phil.
Philip, sorry, Philip, because I've been knowing him for a while. So anyway,
Okay.
so Philip, you're an expert of IT, as far as I know. I mean, you worked in Google, Oracle,
No,
KT.
no.
I mean, that's true.
No, it's not Google. So
Okay.
I think it's great to briefly introduce what I have done.
Yeah.
So right now, it's been almost 4.5 years
Righty.
since I founded this media startup. But before that, I'm not originally a journalist. Before that, I was working in Oracle and Gartner. And very short time,
Gartner.
which is right now public listed company. But at that time, it was a late stage startup. It was
Gartner
Sprinkler.
Consulting.
And then Sprinkler, Oracle, and Gartner. I was working in Korean company, which is, they say that they are largest telecommunication company in fixed and wireless.
Yeah.
But right now they are second or third. But I worked in KT
Korea
for
Telecom.
about, yes. It's a public company, but it became privatized in 2001.
Yeah.
And I was there from 2008 to 2016, so almost 8.5 years. And after that, founding this company in 2020 during the COVID pandemic time. Yes. So that's what I have done.
Amazing. I mean, but what brought you here? I mean, what made you sort of start? I mean, such a big.
That's a very good question.
You're a big fish.
Very good question.
Yeah.
So what I would like to tell you is that when I was in Oracle or when I was in Gartner, they started their business in late 90s. So they knew about the South Korean market very well. And it was the part of Japan, JPEC, what they call Japan and APEC. So it was, so the information was quite purified, and it was very great for me to report. And my managers in San Francisco or in Stanford, which is in the East Coast where Gartner HQ is, they understood about the South Korean market. But I found when I was in Sprinkler, I had to report directly to people in the Big Apple.
Okay.
And what happened was that there was some very silly post that you shouldn't discount SaaS cloud service in South Korea.
What? You serious?
Yeah, serious. And the guy, the revenue officer or something, very high level position, read that post, and what happened was that, hey, do not discount in South Korea. Something like distorted information. So I was very upset.
Of course. Must be.
So that's why I started the media outlet service. So if I make it very clearly,
All right.
I have to spend money, which I have been working over. Let's say I started my career in 2008, so it's 2020.
Yeah.
It's just mathematics. So almost 12 years I have started with my own funding over 12 years and spending the money that I have earned for my career life. And I started the business, and I wrote about 3.5 thousand articles in English.
Wow.
And I feel that if the things make something very transparent and clearly, there comes the business opportunity. So, and I think it naturally links with why this country is strong or why they are. I think the transparency makes ecosystem and makes the powers or makes the money to come into a certain country or certain reason so that it makes it very stronger. So that's what I feel, and that's the reason why I founded Pickool, and so that's why I'm doing this stuff. Well, my wage is not good,
I mean,
but
yeah,
because it's startup, but
yeah.
I feel very comfortable
So am I.
and
As a reader.
very happy because I'm contributing to society.
You are.
Yeah, like you said,
Yeah.
making something very transparent.
Transparent.
Yeah,
objective.
so that's good.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
I mean, that's amazing. I mean, and Pickool, Philip, and it comes next to NVIDIA and semiconductor.
Why?
Oh, because industrial.
I don't have any leather jackets
no,
or
no.
my hair
And you're
black.
hilarious.
No.
No, let me tell you
Anyway,
the truth.
yeah.
The reason is because you're the one of the most specialized experts that I know. I mean, don't
Well,
say
thank
no.
you
Don't say
so-
no,
because
Philip.
I did not
Because
study any engineerings, or there will be some
Okay.
there will be some audience who are watching this YouTube. They might
No.
say, "Well, that guy Major Low, no, he's not
Now-
an engineer.
now-
He just write the stories." I hope someone might be.
No, now
They'll
you
laugh at me.
No. Now you
Okay.
just hit the bullseye. You know why?
Why?
Because I'm a just common reader. That means I have very limited knowledge about semiconductors whatsoever. I don't care about my stock price. But people like me enjoy your, news. That
Okay.
means you're one of the experts who can tell easy, right, in a transparent way. You got it?
Okay.
So, please tell me about NVIDIA. What's going on with NVIDIA? I mean, I read the news yesterday, that whole chip has been launched. Jensen Huang, or this guy, he's the CEO, right? I mean, he
Jensen.
said this is
Yeah,
an
I met him.
amazing one, insane chips.
I took selfie.
Exactly.
It's on my
Oh,
Instagram.
you took a selfie with Jensen
Yes,
Huang?
but he did not take my question because it was my first time.
No,
but
where did it happen? No, we have to pause it. Where did it happen? Tell
in
me.
June 2024,
Oh, so-
during Computex, he didn't actually present the
Man, you
things.
met Jensen Huang and took
Yes, in a
selfie.
press conference. He didn't get my
Amazing. See,
question.
expert, you're not going to deny it, huh? Okay,
I'm
please.
not
Crack
expert.
On. Crack on, fella. Crack on.
Okay, so before talking about NVIDIA, we have to, because everyone says, even my father says that you have to buy QQQ stocks if you want to earn money, and because they are 70s, and they tell that my mother tells, well, she wants to buy semiconductor stocks, and they say about NVIDIA, and in my town, in Songsu area, there are some 80s who are sitting on the streets, and they're talking about NVIDIA, because you know what, they gave me a t-shirt. I wear like this. They wear. I was wearing the t-shirt saying NVIDIA, and I was in a gym for fitness,
Okay.
for my exercise, and I was wearing that NVIDIA stuff because it's waterproof and it's very good. And everyone was looking at me like, oh, that guy seems to be in NVIDIA. Well, it's NVIDIA, but people doesn't know what. They know about NVIDIA, and
Then
they
you're
just know
selling
about
chips
AI.
instead. You're selling chips instead.
Yeah. But everyone is talking about NVIDIA. And
You gotta send your bill to Jensen Huang, whatever, guy. Man, you're selling chips. You're doing promotions.
yeah, but they might send me a check, or they might be sending some receipts that
Okay, I
hey,
love
you
that.
are not NVIDIA.
Yeah.
Why are you? Well, you gave me a T-shirt. Here's a Computex for here,
Yeah.
like a souvenir,
I
right?
got it. Yeah.
Like Major League Baseball, you are on a postseason.
Lakers down there.
Yeah, on my arm they say
that, got that.
Computex 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what they say. But anyway,
Right.
so you see, so first, if you want to talk about NVIDIA, I would like to deal with 3 stories first.
Okay.
Why that has to be in Taiwan and why not in South Korea?
Exactly.
Because I'm the South Korean citizen, so you might ask why. And number two, why NVIDIA is special. So what you have to easily, I can, because I'm not engineer
Yeah.
based,
Yeah.
but I just understand why this CPU versus GPU is important, because most people just think the GPU isn't it just for games or gaming? Isn't that a graphic card? Why?
Yeah.
What happens with graphic card and those AI? So I will just briefly talk on that.
Generate
And number
AI,
three, yeah, number three, it's about it's not just about the semiconductor. It's about, you know, Google or you and I and here in Asia Vision Forum, even in North Korea, for example,
Yeah.
we consume same things. You know what that is?
What is it?
Electricity.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Snap it.
Yes, and electricity. And regarding NVIDIA, it's all about electricity.
Is it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So I will talk on number three part. I will talk on that. So let's start from number one.
Yeah.
Why NVIDIA and
GPU, CPU. Yeah.
why Taiwan?
Why NVIDIA? Yeah. Why
Taiwanese semiconductor industry is strong. So,
Why though?
well, there are people mostly know about Intel or
Qualcomm.
Qualcomm,
Sun
or
Microsystems,
Semi-
Samsung,
Sun-
yeah.
No, Sun Microsystems. It's a server.
Okay.
It's right now part of
Oh.
Oracle.
Okay,
Sun was acquired by
That was like
Oracle.
back old school days, you know.
Yes, Sun, and they
Sun.
had the Java, which is open source database right now.
Climate
No,
change.
Java and MySQL or something. It was very tech
Okay. Okay.
cooperation, and
Sure.
so it's about Sun, but NVIDIA, and the reason why about the NVIDIA, the semiconductor of Taiwan is very strong is that it started with the strategy of the United States.
Really?
Big Brother decides it all. So manufacturing semiconductor
Yeah.
was very dangerous.
Dangerous.
Yes. So if you're trying to make some sort of liquor when making it,
Yeah. On a wafer.
on a wafer. So there are some incidents that the cancer might occur a lot.
Yeah. True.
So United States sent those fabs to outside their country. It's like when a certain country is being developed,
Yeah.
then the facilities which sustain its industry is moving out to the developing country. So, for example,
True. So right.
Nike shoes, for example.
Right.
Well, you still knows that New Balance is made in USA by 99X model, but except that Nike models are not produced in USA anymore.
Yeah.
Same as that. In 1960s and 50s, Nike made their shoes like Wapples or those shoes in Japan.
Yeah.
But after that, they shifted their factories to South Korea and China.
70s.
Right now, it's in Vietnam or Myanmar. It's something like
True.
whether developed countries, when a country is being developed, it's being shifted.
Yeah.
The same thing happened in semiconductor. So at first it was in U.S., but after that it was moved. It shifted its fabs to South Korea. It's like 1980s, and luckily during the Plaza Agreement, when U.S. economy is
89.
trying
Was
to
it
shut down
89?
Plaza
Right.
in New York
In New
in
York.
1987. 87,
yeah.
yes. The Plaza Hotel owned
yeah,
by
exactly.
Donald Trump.
Yeah. Donald Trump. That was
Yes.
the story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brandwood Plaza.
Yeah. So, because the agreement was made in Plaza Hotel in New York, so that's the Plaza,
Yeah.
and I think they overvaluated the power of Japanese yen,
Yeah. Yep.
JPY,
Yep.
and what happened was that after that time,
Yep.
what happened was the semiconductors fabs were shifted from Japan to South Korea. And at that time, Samsung Electronics was trying to make the fabs in South Korea, making 64K, yes, DRAMs. And then there was Hyundai Electronics, which is right now Hynix. And also there was LG Semiconductor. Those two companies were merged during the big swaps in when South Korea got the IMF
Financial crisis.
The Asian financial crisis, and when International Monetary Fund funded South Korea, then it started. But you have to think, then why Taiwan? So Taiwan's economy is based on the Sino economy.
Say again?
Sino,
Okay.
Sino
Sino
economy. And one thing which is specialized in Sino economy is that South Korean economy was not fully capitalized economy, the U.S. or fully Western style until 1997. I mean, their economic system, even the currency system was controlled by the government, partially.
Yeah,
but after that,
I remember when I was really young, we still had, when I was staying in America,
yes,
sort of like mix and jumble thing, like fixated plus variable, what do you call that?
Currency rate. Yes.
So I found that this is like a very extraordinary thing
because Asian economy was not fully capitalized economy. For example, Singapore's economy looks like really fully capitalized economy, but a nation of the Singapore itself is not fully, because government controls a lot of things for their internal ecosystem. Of course, in the financial sector, it's other story. But if you just look into that economy,
so sorry to interrupt, but so you mean fully capitalized economy and
like a U.S. style, it was not.
So that means in a complete liberal competition within the same condition, right?
Market decides everything.
Okay, so market. Okay, now I go.
But South Korea was not that kind of the market.
True.
But it changes in 1990s, late 1990s after IMF, because it was the conditions of the IMF. You should do this, you should do this, you should do this.
True.
So at that time, Taiwan was quite different because Taiwanese economy is very small houses. So you see, there was those computers, the like gigabytes, or let's say Acer or Foxconn, or those companies were actually assemblies of their computers.
Right. I mean, we had this lousy Acer, and then Samsung and Sony.
Well, Samsung or Trijam of South Korea, there were quite big vendors, but Trijam or Samsung or LG or even Hyundai, they made some not laptops, the PCs, but
anyways, computer.
Yeah, it was computer, personal computer, PC. But Taiwan, it was quite. I mean, there were very small, tiny players. So, but in a certain components, so Gigabyte had a very, let's say, very, the nickname has the Mercedes-Benz or Porsche of a motherboard, something like that.
Sure, Mercedes, Porsche.
Yeah, it was very luxury motherboards. It never drops up. But if you are trying to sell a smartphone, let's say, when like something like PDAs, when I still remember in 2008,
in between the transition,
Korea Telecom was trying to sell gigabytes.
Oh, you were working for a firm at the time, I remember.
Yes, and they imported a gigabyte phone based on the Windows Mobile OS, and people say, "Why are you trying to sell this crap?" But it was much better than the Samsung one. But it was the image, something like that.
Got it. Then,
but
Taiwan was a
Taiwan
assembly
TSMC. We have to check the story, but
Well,
they were trying to get the stories and merge it together and made
hold
it.
on.
So
Story means
TSMC,
what? Story means
because it was not small SMEs, but it was a big company. So
Okay.
TSMC,
Taiwan Semiconductor
Manufacturing
Something.
Corporation. Yes.
So that reminds me of Audi and back long ago. You know, they're like
Something like
companies
Volkswagen.
Volkswagen, yeah, Stuttgart here, Ingolstadt.
Yeah,
people,
so
BMW.
and why this happened was that you have to think about the
Yeah.
DNA of a certain industry
Okay,
because
okay.
because thing with Samsung is integrated. They do everything. They design the chips and they make the chips.
Oh yeah.
Of course, in some part, when what they call the packaging part,
Yeah.
which South Korean semiconductor industry is not good at.
Okay.
Well, they work with the partners, but they try to do everything. That's how Chaebol works. The conglomerate.
Conglomerates, yeah. Chaebol.
Yeah, Chaebol works like that.
Yeah.
It's not the it's not
So you mean-
it's different in the way
The
of
volume.
the Japanese conglomerate Geidanin,
How different are they?
because South Korean Chaebols are basically the breed base.
Okay, okay.
Choi family or Lee family or Koo family, something like that.
Yeah, sure.
Chong family. But Keidanin, the Japanese conglomerate, it's more, I mean, I'm not trying to distinguish which one is better,
Yeah.
but at least Japanese has more long history in commercial part. I mean, they,
Yeah. True.
so there was samurais and the
Shoguns.
farmers and Shogun was
Like-
higher.
Oh,
Samurais, but the samurais, the same Chinese characters
Okay.
in Chosun part was someone who studies. Sanbi-san.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but the sa in
Really?
Japan they say samurais.
That's a completely new thing that I've never.
Yeah, but anyway, so it's something like they took the war in 16th century.
Yeah.
People say that it's a war between Chosun and Japan.
Yeah.
The invasion from
Yep.
Toyotomi Hideyoshi
Yep.
was something like someone calls it's a war of seldom, war of China. So they
It was like
they captured all
That
the
happened in-
and then they brought them to Kyushu and
1590 something, 16.
yes,
Yeah.
the war and that about 9 years I guess. Anyway,
Back to
back to
why-
Taiwan,
what's the
and then
difference about China?
let's go back to Taiwan. So
Sorry.
what Taiwan works was that so they made it bigger, and they were very good at not designing their own things,
Oh,
but as you know, remember.
okay.
Gigabyte was good at motherboard, and Acer was good at assembling something. Foxconn assembling the iPhones, something like that.
Right.
So their economy doesn't have a big brand,
Uh-huh.
but their economy and their DNA was that they get some orders from other countries, and they like quantum computing, for example.
Yeah.
If you give their architecture and something architect and how design you should be made, the Taiwanese economy was very good at, okay, you want a computer like Mac? Okay, we make it for you, and then here it is. And show me the money.
Absolutely.
So that was how the Taiwanese ecosystem works. So let's say you and I are in the same factory line, and you make the MacBook Air, and I only make MacBook Pro, but we each other don't know what we do each other, but we are working on making something.
But I have a question, man. I mean, in my limited, knowledge, or maybe scope of plethora, Asia, varies from country to country, but whatsoever economy it is, I mean, look, once your economy get developed, I wouldn't say greed, but people have more,
Very good question, and
to get
but
agglomeration, industrialization, and what economies of scale.
So
absolutely, those kind of things make
we
the
have to
number
check the
happen.
data, but
Yeah, I mean, without no data, let's just
So yeah,
Sponsor, yeah.
so in that case,
How can they be so strong?
so yeah, so then I told you that Samsung, LG, Hyundai, those players are just integrated players. So they're making own things. And what happened in 2009 and 2010 was that
Yeah.
when the Steve Jobs was
I remember.
living with us,
Post.
yeah,
iPhone
and Jobs,
3. iPhone
Mr. Jobs
Yeah.
criticized Samsung as a copycat. And at that time, Samsung supplied AP, which is like brain of a smartphone device, for Apple.
Yeah.
And then with the AP semiconductor supplying from Samsung to, let's say, to Apple, was being assembled in a factory in China, operated by, owned by Foxconn, the Taiwanese company.
Ah, right.
But Apple thought that Samsung was stealing something, like
Yeah.
semiconductor.
I remember that was huge news day by day. I still
Yeah, so
remember, yeah.
so in that sense,
Uh-huh.
reportedly,
Uh-huh.
Apple was very angry.
Yeah, man.
These guys are cheating. They
So-
thought it
so
was
they went on a,
cheating.
like,
So
lawsuits, huge
they
lawsuits?
they
Yeah.
began to supply because Galaxy S,
Yeah.
the first model, I thought it was like Apple because before that there was a smartphone called Omnia
Yeah.
based
I
on
remember
Windows
this
Mobile,
thing,
and it was
yeah.
very
Was
was trash.
Man, it was trash, man. It's so. I mean, I remember I
So-
used that.
so,
phone,
yeah,
it was
so-
so jacked lands.
Yes. So after that, Apple was let's say Apple started to Apple started to supply get supplement from Taiwanese. players.
Okay. So Apple got the products from Chinese.
Yeah,
Chinese
and
company,
also
oh,
yeah.
it's transferred.
Yeah, and also that was I think that was a big momentum.
Oh, yeah,
And the
yeah.
other thing was that let's say if you have a great idea and there is a factory which makes your idea as a real product.
Foundry.
Yes, foundry. And they thought that, and it was not just a foundry, it's a foundry which keeps their NDA, non-disclosure,
Yeah.
perfectly.
agreements. Oh.
So think about it. If you are Apple,
Yeah.
will you ask if the performance is similar?
Yeah.
Would you ask Samsung to produce your semiconductor?
I mean.
So there is a
Well,
strong idea that
yeah, I got your point.
Samsung should isolate. Otherwise, let's say Intel and Samsung is competing each other.
Yeah. Sure.
I have to check that because
I mean, but
yeah,
there
yeah,
are,
but
you know, alliance and competing, yeah.
if it is the same, it's like in the Wall Street, what they say that there is a invisible Chinese war between investing banking and the commercial banking. So that in that sense, that's what the guys to Wall Street people saying that I don't believe in the New York arrogant financial sector guys because they share the information. So something like that was happening for semiconductor, and in some part, Samsung's and portion would because in the world there is a certain portion of semiconductor. Suddenly,
demand.
But if someone get plus, then someone get minus. So something that like was happening, and from the Samsung's perspective, Samsung is had a IP legal dispute with the Hanmi semiconductor. And their equipment is some of the essential equipment, like ASML, for making HBM.
So that's.
But Hanmi said we shall never sell or supply our. We have to check the story, but due to the legal, because
Lawsuits,
there are because I didn't check the details.
Yeah,
so,
the disputes.
and as I know, and from my source, what they say was that my source always told that without that equipment from Hummi, the Samsung cannot make the HBMs because Samsung's HBMs yield and also the heat is the critical issue. So that's why Jensen Huang is saying we're testing.
So technologically, there's a threshold. And
But they are
internal
trying to
issues-
make alternative, but
And you're finding one of the
that's
reasons,
that's
key
yeah that, that's
reasons from
what that's
internal
what yeah
external
that's what my
factors.
semiconductor sources. I
Okay.
cannot tell
Yeah,
who
sure,
they work,
sure,
but
sure.
that's as I
no,
know.
No, I'm not like trying to interrogate or anything, but it's so curious. Definitely it's a curious. issue.
So that's
And
about
back to
but
NVIDIA.
so that's why people are
Why?
huh?
Though, despite all the facts that we understood, we learned today, but why NVIDIA and why Taiwanese are so
Yeah, so Taiwanese.
Yeah.
So I think my answer
Yeah.
might be a little insufficient, but
no,
it's
no,
also
it was so
sys-
sufficient, but I can't
yeah,
still understand.
but
Yeah.
you know, the NVIDIA stuff was NVIDIA stuff in some terms. That made Taiwanese ecosystem very strong.
Aha, that's
Yeah, so because they make what we want.
all right. So they were in the-
Regarding the semiconductor, you can make it, and they are very good at packaging.
Okay. So
And also-
with that
Yeah,
equipability-
and for PCs, for example, they have Foxconn
Acer.
and
Asus.
Asus, Acer.
Yeah.
They make because laptops, for example.
I used that back in 10 years ago.
Well, if I go outside this country, for Windows laptops, Asus or Acer, no Samsung or no LG.
no.
Of course, they have Samsung or LG when Intel, Pat Gelsinger was showing the AI PCs in last Computex, but that's why the Taiwanese market is working in that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and so let's talk about TSMC. Why?
Yeah, TSMC, too.
Yeah.
'Cause as far as I know, they're the core manufacturer of, as you say, a line manufacturer in Taiwan. And you know, as you know, their capability and aptitude is, you know, irresponsible.
Well,
no, sorry. I mean, irresponsible.
let me
Sorry.
let me introduce the quote what Jansen said. He said we are good partners and we are working closely with TSMC from the developing and making before production stage. So it is my thought, and some of the big mouths here in tech ecosystem says that Apple's new processor for their CPU is working that diode,
Okay.
and they put two chips together and they go
Back and forth.
yes by each other
Okay.
from their some kind of the network
Yeah.
InfiniBand or something to
whatsoever,
those
yeah.
perspective.
Yeah. So that's Apple.
Yeah, but I saw the same thing from Blackwell.
Gosh. I mean, yesterday.
Yeah, but
Is it
TSMC
really true their advanced, technologies like...
no, it's not leaked, but
No.
it's a probe. We can probe that TSMC might have given the idea.
Oh, yeah, so that's assumption.
Assumption, but
Presumptively,
yeah,
yeah.
assumption.
Yeah.
So then we have to understand what's the difference between CPU and GPU. So
Yeah. Computer and graphic.
oh yeah, but let me introduce in other ways. So
Please.
CPU is like a genius guy.
Uh-huh.
So the genius makes it really strong.
Okay. Oh.
So he
right.
makes
nice simile.
yeah.
Got
So
it.
he can draw, he can sing, and he can paint, and he does everything. He or she does everything.
Right.
But GPU, it's not a genius.
Okay.
It's not a genius, but the GPU is a certain person who reads well or who paints well. He has just one skill. But the CPU and GPU is different. Is that CPU is just only one person,
Yeah.
but GPU is there are a bunch of 60 people in one chip.
Oh,
So when you are ordering a certain job
okay.
for GPU,
Yeah.
this one is much more faster.
So
So yeah, let me
Okay.
show you. If you find on a YouTube video that CPU versus GPU when the NVIDIA's first
but
GPU.
are they in a comparison relationship, like CPU versus GPU?
Well,
Will
yeah,
it be
yeah.
okay
It was
to
some
think about
kind of the
yeah.
subsidy and
Okay,
working
sure,
together to help. So GPU
Oh.
was for gaming.
Yeah. Remember back in old days, GPU you have to
Because
like,
the
video,
graphics,
yeah.
it's just for dedicated graphics. So
Exactly.
there is a introduction by NVIDIA at the first time. So CPU is like a drawing,
Yeah.
but
Smart
GPU
genius.
is like shooting a gun. So
Wow.
dramatically in 1 second it's a boom.
So set in motion such bombarded advancement of technology.
Yes, yeah. It's not advanced. It's like
Just
a lot of
discrete
people
things.
are in one chip.
Righty.
So
you're
sorry.
basically no, it's alright. So basically, you're porting your fire, and
So that's why it's good for just learning.
learning. Okay.
So training what they saw.
For example, calculation.
Yeah, so they train all the stuff.
Faster.
Yeah, so they read everything. So
Wow.
I think so large language model, what they say about the parameter, what they say is that it's reading of books.
Yeah. Like chapter
So
by
when
chapter,
you are
yeah.
so when you and I think that it's inside our brain, it's very similar like our brains, but
Yeah.
our brains,
neural thing.
yeah, neural things. This is. Should
you
I touch
recognize
the
one
mic
of them,
or
yeah.
something like that?
A sense of.
But
recognition.
before that, due to electricity and the GPU's performance, of course, the price itself,
Price itself, yeah. It's-
it was impossible
It's
to
up to
make
1,000,
artificial brain because they had bunch of electricity and bunch of GPUs for training. And after that, if you train that much, what we say inference, what's coming next? So GP, the generative AI, what we say like chatting is that.
Like ChatGPT.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you know that billions and trillions of books, and they know that what words comes next.
Next. And
Next.
they induce and they infer.
Next. Yeah, so that's the after the training, but you know, for these kind of things, you don't need to be smart. You don't need to be something like make.
You got it,
So
got it.
yeah, so that's why people
Got your
are
point,
saying.
got your point.
So I support that saying that there are two opinions. This will be a terminator,
Okay.
but this one is controllable. But I believe at this moment, I think AI is controllable
Okay.
because you learn from what human being has generated over years, and then the works comes out from the algorithm.
Yeah.
What people have been finding out over decades.
True.
So for that,
So,
that's
I
just
don't-
training, and the
well,
other one is
I'm not
inference.
sure. I mean, absolutely wonderful. I mean, I'm not sure if this terminology is the correct one, but I found that AI is pretty humane.
Yeah, but
In a way that they learn or respond.
yeah, but
So, and Taiwan already got an upper hand.
yeah. So I was trying to
Yeah.
then why NVIDIA. So
Yeah. Or Jensen.
so Jensen's
Jensen's.
yeah Jensen's. Well, AMD and Intel is trying to make that.
Yeah.
The performance itself.
But isn't AMD like Chinese too? I mean, sorry, like Chinese Taipei, Taiwanese American migrants.
Well,
it's a little bit off the tangent, but
yeah, but it's like they insist and they told themselves in June in Computex that we almost catch up, and Intel catch up. Then I will ask you the other question. Then if their performance is good, why should Google and Meta or Oracle bag to NVIDIA
wow,
instead of AMD and Intel?
performance.
And because they have to wait, they know their performance and their
Stocks.
electric. No, it's not just.
No,
stocks.
I'm talking about like actual stock itself. Physical
So,
stock keeping.
so if
stock
you
chain,
see the last quarter's report, 57% of the revenue has generated from 4 major clients: Google, Meta, Amazon, Oracle.
So half of their revenue came from 4, which means very efficient. Efficacy is getting
So they are buying everything.
credible. Yeah.
Yes. So
So
the
do you
cloud.
think this linkage will be like even stronger and larger?
Well, I
in
feel
very near future.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about 10 years later, but 2 years maybe, a couple of years later. 3
I
years.
think it will be something like Cisco. So if you
Cisco.
think Cisco Systems
Yeah.
was really great during the era of the booming internet
Yeah,
time,
I
but
remember.
there was similar things like Cisco, like there was a Juniper
Yeah,
or
Juniper.
other vendors coming up,
Remember.
and then the Cisco stock price was shrinking down,
Launched a lot. Yeah.
and I think Nvidia will follow the same way.
Wow.
But right now the
No.
performance is good, and number 2 is that
Yeah.
you know you cannot suddenly by software, for example,
Yeah.
you can maximize your performance 3 times or 4 times.
Wow.
Yeah, you can do that. That's what cloud does. Because in cloud computing, in on-premise
exactly.
environment, you
Exactly,
use only
exactly.
20 to 30%. So what you do is that you use your hypervisor to perform your CPU 3 times or 4 times, and then you divide it by one, and you make it virtual machines, and you sell it by core, 3 cores. That's what cloud works, right?
Yeah, no. Amazing.
That's what cloud works. It's by software, so it's one computer. But for cloud computing, for example, there is 3 MacBooks.
Wow.
But I'm saying but can you generate your electricity 3 or 4 times just in one day?
Nah.
For example,
Sorry, crack on. I'll ask you later.
yeah. So in that sense, and you have to make it carbon neutral.
Neutrality. Yeah.
You have to use more renewable,
Absolutely.
or
Yeah.
in some countries they are maximizing their nuclear powers
Yep.
for their carbon neutral goals.
Yeah. SMRs in US, UK. Yeah.
So why do stocks and electricity stocks are booming? Because AI is actually happening due to by the date, what kind of good quality data you have.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that how your chipsets are energy efficient. And at this moment, NVIDIA's chipset is very expensive. But what Jensen says is that if you purchase your NVIDIA chipsets, compared with the CPU's electricity consumption, you save about 96 to 97%. Of course, it's more expensive.
Yeah, of course, not in total volume, but then considering the performance and
Yes.
I mean,
So that's why
Yeah.
Jensen is always talking that
Wow.
you need the accelerated computing.
Oh, so Jansen is saying, NVIDIA is saying, acceleration, what do you call that?
Accelerated computing.
Okay,
So what they say,
computer-
it's something like Intel Inside. It's a marketing quote, but what I would like to tell you
So that
is
means
that
I'm gonna throw my chips and you have to make it.
but
Possible.
it's a serious issue.
But
So
you see that.
so do you know how much data center consumes electricity?
Oh, huge.
Yeah, but I will tell you based in Seoul. So Mokdong KT's data center, the single building itself consumes daily electricity consumption of Jongro and Jung district.
The whole people's consumption.
Yes.
Wow.
So Jongno and Junggu is the northern part of Seoul. It's a very core, many office buildings.
Yeah.
So it means that it's like a consumption of the electricity.
Yeah.
So in that sense, so that's why people are buying NVIDIA, and also the stocks like electricity stocks and grid stocks. Those stocks are also booming because it's a matter of electricity, AI, and so that's why NVIDIA is booming. I think other than the performance, well, someone might test it. Like Neighbor is utilizing Intel chipsets. They made based on their Hyperclover AI is built on Intel, and Pat Gelsinger mentioned the name Neighbor.
Neighbor, he mentioned the company's name. Neighbor.
Yes, in Taiwan. So
Gelsinger, right? In
Yep. The guy because but it's all about electricity, and also the ecosystem. So we can check from other sector that why AWS is number one cloud service provider is Microsoft or Google Cloud or OCI, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or IBM, or even Ali Cloud. They make real good servers or storage.
They do,
but from developer or from the IT manager perspective, they need the reference. So Amazon takes about 60 to 70% of the market share. So there are various
share of the whole data center market.
No, in
Service,
cloud, public cloud IS market.
IS,
Yes,
like
infrastructure.
SaaS,
Infrastructure as a service market.
Yeah.
So in this market, it looks like that. So what happened is that they have good references, and they don't want to be there as a tester, utilizing by Microsoft or Google Cloud or Oracle Cloud. So that's why they use but for NVIDIA MD, there will be some players like NVIDIA in 2 or 3 years. They might make the chipsets because Huawei made some already they made some copycats of the NVIDIA. They say that we made it, but the difference between the NVIDIA and the other is that NVIDIA has their software ecosystem, Omniverse. Yes, and Omniverse and their Omniverse systems make it like a for 3D for 3D, and they good for digital twins and autonomous driving. So Foxconn is making their digital twin factory and building that as a real factory. And like Tesla, for example, they make their test driving environment based on NVIDIA. So those are the good cases of, let's say, if this Friday in Seoul local time, the Elon will announce about the robotaxi, and if his robotaxi is successful, then what will happen is that Hyundai or like a Nissan, Renault Nissan or Toyota, they might copy that concept of NVIDIA. Then should they do it at Intel? No, because it's regarding the software. And
so is it? Do you, Phil, sorry to interrupt. Do you think this business is all about survival to the fittest or second to none? So basic, absolute competition era.
Which era?
I mean, in field. Era, like decade by decade. Do you think this semiconductor industry has such a strong power that, as you said, that you can't replace it, irreplaceable. So once you get the upper hand of certain.
Well, if it is ecosystem, I think it will, because you
said electricity and geopolitical issues, and then economic power, and then your subcontractors. So all this golden triangle, quadro, whatsoever is already equipped. And do you think other competitors, for example, Samsung, Korean companies, or like Intel, they can follow or that will remain as a runoff for all?
It will be one part because I think this is like an empire from my perspective because
it sounds like it, huh?
because let me give you an example. So, x86 servers like HPs or those server players,
Yup.
still HP or Cisco or those vendors are conquering the market.
Yeah.
And for storage, Hitachi is
Yeah.
also the
Japanese.
Japanese storage or IBM storage is conquering the market. It started from 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
And for cloud example, it started 20 years ago, 2004, 2005.
Holy.
Yeah, but Amazon, did Microsoft become number one? No, it's still AWS. Of course, the portion is getting smaller and smaller, but they are the dominant player.
Yeah.
So why? Let's say why? Because it's based on the software and it's the ecosystem and there is the developer community. You know, Jensen is not emphasizing its specification. He's just talking about electricity. He's talking about Omniverse and he's talking about the developer's ecosystem.
Yeah.
You know why? Because
Why?
they don't want
Because
to
he-
mess up.
he-
Because
he-
there are
exactly.
good, successful players. It's
Doesn't
like a.
have to.
So let's say, let me imagine
I
one
got your
other
point.
thing. So
Yeah.
why people are going to Harvard and why people are going to Stanford?
Man.
Let's say there is a new university
Yeah.
and they hired a lot of professors from Harvard or Stanford or MIT, and someone made a big school.
Some of the liberal arts schools did that. I mean, back in the old days, you know.
Yeah, but it was just 10 or 12 years and they failed. Why? Because it's like alumni
Yeah.
is something like the developer's ecosystem. So when you graduate Harvard, for example,
True.
then you have very good your alumni.
Absolutely.
And alumni is something like a developer's ecosystem. So that's why people are going to good schools, even they have, oh, I don't like that professor, but you know, in that sense, you can be successful because with the name, it's like selecting AWS. I can build a system more efficiently with less risk.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something like that. So that's why
So that's something you can't change in a day, huh?
5 or 10 years
Wow.
no,
Long days, huh?
no.
Then
So
we-
that's why
Man,
I
that's
think
the
market.
hegemony. That's the hegemony,
I
huh?
think market is very honest. I believe in market.
in a way that market, what number shows that?
SK Hynix, for example, or
stock prices, earned value, profits.
yeah, because they are the suppliers of HBM.
Agree, 100%.
Yeah, and also regarding electricity, there is a company in South Korea because South Korean stock market was not good, but there was a company called
KTS.
HD Hyundai Electric.
Okay. Hyundai Electric. HD Hyundai Electric.
Yes, and their stock price almost tripled.
Oh.
Last year, the market was like going down. South
Yeah.
Korean economy was not good,
Wow.
but their stock was like Bitcoin.
Okay.
How come? Because electricity is important.
So what do they do?
They supply the electricity stuff.
Wow, righty.
They're global fourth or fifth.
So they're in a competitive advantage.
Yeah,
Relatively.
yeah. Because I told you it's all. And my ex company Oracle, for example, their stock doubled because
Yeah.
the AI is just a tool.
Okay.
You need a database. You need a very accurate database so that you can. Let's say you have a very good chef. You know there is a
Yeah.
chef-related program by Netflix original
Yeah.
right now. So you have an even good chef, but let's say there is a rotten fish and rotten beef.
And we're in the
Can you make a Michelin
Absolutely not.
3-star restaurant with the
negative.
rotten
Negative.
vegetables? No.
Impossible.
So your ingredients, the raw materials, database. So that's why the database company like Oracle stock is going up. The market is really honest and
Yeah, man,
transparent.
So where demand and supply comes.
Yes. So that's why it's all working together. So
So it's a symbiotic thing
yes.
in a very good condition.
Yeah. But
yeah.
but
Please.
that's why. But U.S. doesn't like. You see, there was a Rockefeller, and they divided AT&T,
Yeah.
and they are trying to divide the company of Google right now.
Can't think of the name. The rest one. Yeah, got it.
So, in that sense, the U.S. government is looking into NVIDIA whether this is oligopoly or monopoly or not.
Well, I think it's more about oligopsony, though.
Yeah,
Upon
but
your
and also this is the
It's
Democrats,
definitely
and
monopoly.
I don't know
Yeah,
how it will come. Even Kamala or Donald becomes who becomes the president of the United States next month.
Question
Yes.
that we have to talk about. I mean, for example, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I would have to because, Philip, for example, some kind of political issues or taxation issue, IRA thing, program, package, Trump say no, okay, we're going to break down this guy because we're going to make Intel, basically, he didn't mention Intel, but American companies stronger, so that means you're doing it something, goes against the market economy, huh? Through political power or whatsoever. CHIPS Act.
NVIDIA has
What's your opinion on that?
fabs in U.S.
Yeah, they're American company. So he did, of course, American company, American based.
But you see, they don't have fabs in Mexico. So
yeah.
for Tesla, Elon is not expanding their manufacturing facility in Mexico.
Whoa.
And people think, well, I'm trying to be neutral.
Sure.
But
Do you think NAFTA is done?
huh?
NAFTA agreement?
I think it's
not
gone.
in
It's
paper.
gone. It's gone. But
Okay.
Donald is trying to re-innovate its electricity grid
Oh, Trump.
facilities, because
Yeah.
if you send, let's say, if you send about 100% of the electricity in other countries like France, Germany, they receive about 20, South Korea 20 to 30%,
Okay.
but US the roast is about 90,
Wow.
90.
9-0.
So they're trying to make it new electricity to save it. So that's one of the promise by donors. I mean, you just remember fight, something they're eating the dogs, so they're eating the cats. No,
I got you.
what I'm just trying to tell about the donor stuff is that he's also looking the course, but how he express, because he is basically knows what the ordinary citizens work.
Exactly.
But if you read their stuff, they're quite similar. I read all the stuff, what the promise is done on the Donald J. Trump home website, and that was what happened. So
You even read on this website.
yeah, I read all
Okay,
these.
that's amazing.
Yeah, because it's related.
Gotcha.
Because I still see it's 50-50 game.
Okay. I mean, we're not going to talk about politics today, but back. So now, we learned about Taiwan and how strong NVIDIA is, and black hole chip, and then 3 days later, Tesla, flying taxi, advanced air.
Robo-taxi.
Robo-taxi, okay, that's an amazing thing again. And then, final conclusion, because we have very limited time constraints, because our memory's so bad.
Okay.
Our chip's so bad. So now, I mean, as far as we know, there were traditional players, huh?
Mm-hmm.
As you said, as you mentioned, the very initial stage, U.S. transition shift. Now, there used to be Japan, memory industry, golden days, Korea, and then look now Taiwan, Taiwan and America alliance. And do you think those kind of whatsoever chips, I'll just say chips, whether it's GPU or CPU, chips will be a threatening, I won't say weapon, but very strong,
I think semiconductor is more powerful than nuclear weapons for Taiwan. It is because let me give you an example. It is forbidden to tell Taiwan as a country. So if you remember,
Chinese Taipei.
yeah, but I call Taiwan. I feel Taiwan is a country.
Taiwan's
Actually, it's a country.
Yeah, it is.
But let's say Taiwan. So in Olympics, someone was hanging the Taiwanese flag in Paris, and the IOC guard was suddenly taking off the flag, and they teared it off.
Oh,
But about 3 weeks ago, Jensen said Taiwan is a great nation
Yeah.
with hurt of AI.
Oh.
You say it's a country and nation, it's forbidden. But the Chinese government, the Xi administration, didn't say a single word.
Even the cross-strait relations, it's nothing.
Because they have to get the chips from NVIDIA.
So that they can.
Yeah, so it's more powerful weapon than any nuclear. And you just talked about the geopolitical issue.
Yeah. Because members of AVF are very interested in and they're expert.
If they attack, I think.
I mean, presumably, no. Hopefully, no physical, conflict must be happening. But that could be one of the.
It will be it will be World War II.
What?
World War III, because from U.S. or U.S., Japan, and South Korean perspective. Even Southeast Asia.
ASEAN.
Yeah. Even the country is close to China or U.S. There are countries like Malaysia.
A lot. Singapore.
Yep.
Thailand.
They think because breaking up the semiconductor means that going back past to about 20, 30 years. Because the fab itself, let me give you an example.
Sure.
Even you do not have an order, semiconductor companies are never shutting down the line.
Why?
Because it takes about 4 or 5 months to
to
make the line work. So even if it's empty, they operate it. So if the war happens and if the line is being damaged,
you think chips will be produced still?
It takes more than 1 or more years.
Okay. So though there's no.
If the attack, if the attack comes to Taiwan,
I mean, the physical.
it will be disaster for this country and Japan and other countries
No.
around this Northeast Asia.
That's why we're sort of resisting it through economic.
So that's why I think, because she is not that crazy.
Not that crazy. He's smart guy, huh?
Well, I don't know whether he's smart or not, but Chinese government is not. Chinese government is not that much crazy.
Of course. Then my last question comes. Do you think we lost our edge? Do you think this semiconductor industry are cutting our South Koreans' edge?
Well, I usually explain that way because Nokia was falling in Finland, for example. But instead of Nokia, there was a company called Robio and many other countries. So a certain country's elite remains, and those people will make other things. But the problem of this country is that, well, I think it will be our next show, but Confucianism is very strong in South Korea.
I mean, Confucianism, like
yes. So in that sense, South Koreans are very, they work in big companies and tend to work big companies. So Taiwan was strong because they have very many SMEs. It's all startups, so their economy is more dynamic. So if a certain big player falls down, whether South Korean economy will be with edge or will fall down to disaster, is that those talents and those elites who make the country great will sustain or die. It depends on the culture. But for me, I am negative on that personally, because if there was only country South Korea, then they might leave. But those elites are good at language and due to education and these sociological reasons. Many people are going to Bay Area or other countries and they educate their people in Southeast Asia, something like that. So I think that's the issue.
So you think?
So that's why I say it's
Okay,
negative.
so you
There
think,
is no one who wants to pay for their
Okay,
private
sure,
education
sure,
for
sure.
2.5K every month for a single child.
So interdisciplinary and your utilization
Yes.
of knowledge. All right, Phil. I mean, we already ran for more than an hour.
Okay.
So I think we have to take another
Yes.
talk show for the next time. Thank you very much for coming
Yeah,
here.
thank you.
Thank you, Phil.
Yeah.
Hope to see you next game.
Okay, thank you.
Great.
Bye.